This choosing beggar asks for money to feed his starving family, but those scratched lottery tickets he's holding tells a different story. You won't believe the twist when he realizes who he has been talking to this whole time. Happy birthday if today's your birthday, and on with the show. A little backstory. I'm getting into the voice acting industry. I've bought many things to need to help me set up a booth at home, including something called a chaotica eye. The eyeball Karen is referring to. The eyeball is basically a recording booth in a ball. It's awesome and works wonders. Highly recommended for anyone who needs to record anything. Podcasts, songs, etc. It's basically a portable recording booth. There are two types of eyeballs, the normal chaotica and the Fat Boy. The Fat Boy only fits the Blue Yeti microphone, which is the mic I had. It broke. I had bought a gently used microphone off a friend, and he also gave me his eyeball, which fit the mic I bought off him. Since I don't need the Fat Boy anymore, I decided to sell it on Facebook Marketplace. The cast: me, Karen. The story: I put the eyeball on Marketplace for $100, which was a reasonable price considering I got it for $215. And if anyone knows anything about the eyeball, they know it's worth every penny. I posted pics of the eyeball by itself, as well as it on the microphone, so people knows it fits the Yeti and only the Yeti, and said that the microphone was not for sale as it was broken. A couple days go by and I get a message from Karen. She said that she would like to buy it for her son, who can use it for his gaming channel. She also asked if the microphone came with it and was willing to pay extra. I told her that the microphone was broken. I was just using it for scale to show it fits. She said that it was fine and was still interested in the eyeball. Everything went great. We set up a time and place to meet. The next day, we met in the middle between our locations. We show up and greet each other. I show her the eyeball, and then she says, "And the microphone?" Like I said on Facebook, the microphone is broken. I was just showing that it fits around the mic. "Well, why sell it if it doesn't come with the microphone in the picture? Poor customer service." "Ma'am, I said in the post that it didn't include the microphone." "Well, give me the eyeball for free. It doesn't come with a microphone." "I'm not going to do that. It's worth over $200. "But it's just foam. I could make one for $5. "Then if you're not interested in paying the $100, I'm just going to leave." I kept my cool, even though I want to do a snarky remark. Karen then starts having a bit of a tantrum, stomping her feet and whatnot. We were getting some looks, but people didn't really do anything, mainly because of the town we live in. Probably thought she was crazy. "Give me the eyeball!" Now I know people think we are crazy. For the $100? For free! "No ma'am, I'm not going to do that. Now since you're not going to be pulling it from me, I'll be on my way. Sorry for wasting your time. Have a great day." I then walk away, eyeball in hand, and head to the car. She then follows me to the car. I was borrowing my aunt's van. She stands in front of the van and glares at me. She then puts her hands on the hood and starts tapping her fingers on it. I couldn't help but giggle at how ridiculous she was being. I've met Karens before, but never one like this. I then get a buzzing on my phone. It's from Marketplace, someone asking if it was still available. I don't take it off until it's been given to the buyer. I replied with yes. The person responds with, "If you can bring it to my place, then I'll give you $125. I was more than happy to do so. They gave me their address and I said I was on my way. I just had to deal with Karen. She was still standing there, glaring me down. But God, or whatever being is out there, was on my side that day. The car that was behind mine pulled out. I had a way out. I was thankful that we met at a grocery store parking lot. Since she still had her claws on my car, I had to get her off. I didn't want to fake an injury or anything. I honked the horn and she jumped. I then backed out and drove off. I took the long way to the person's house, just in case she followed me. Mind you, my aunt has the same vehicle as every other mum in this town, so she could have mistaken any other one for me, but just to be on the safe side. I get to the person's house and the exchange went off without a hitch. They were more serious about the eyeball use, and I appreciated that. Plus I got a little extra from my troubles. Got home and blocked Karen. I'm so glad that Karen didn't follow me. But wouldn't that be funny? She tried to follow me, but she starts following someone else with the same car as me and gets all the way to their house, then gets mad that it's not me and goes all Karen on them, like she'd expect them to know where I live. Crazy Karen. Thanks for reading. Why is Facebook Marketplace a complete Karen magnet? I don't understand. Maybe they've realized they can't necessarily get everything for free from a store. You know, once they've spoken to all the managers. So what do? Well, they target individuals on Facebook. So this happened to me a few years ago when I was living in the Southwest. I was working as an elementary school teacher, and on the way home, I would sometimes pick up a snack at the local convenience store. After a few years of working next door to this place, I got to know the staff pretty well, and even became friends with a few of them. One day, I was walking into the store and saw a gentleman, choosing beggar, sitting on the curb in front of it with a stack of scratch-off lottery tickets in his hand and a few 40s of beer with him next to it. I thought nothing of it and went inside the store. I spent about 15 minutes in there, picking out a few treats and chatting with one of the employees I was friends with. When I was leaving, CB I saw before came up to me and asked if I could do him a favor. I had a feeling he was going to ask me for money, and I was not disappointed. He said his family desperately needed money for groceries, as he was out of work. I looked to where he was sitting and saw no less than $40 worth of scratcher tickets and 4 large empty cans of beer. Thinking that he would just throw the money away or he was scamming me, I said that if CB liked, I would go inside the store and buy some groceries for his family. He became irate. He started yelling at me that he really needed the money for his family and that I should just give him cash so he can pick out what he needed. I told him I wouldn't do that, but if he can give me a list and I would go back into the store and buy some of the items and gladly deliver them to his family's home so he wouldn't have to carry them. He then told me that he would need about $20 in groceries. Bread, eggs, milk, etc. Then he'd like another $20 spent on scratcher tickets. He named the specific ones. And 2 cans of beer. I told him heck no, and that I would not buy him beer and lottery tickets, and start to walk towards my truck. He then began to follow me and scream as loud as he could how his family would starve to death and it would be all my fault. I turned to him and said that if he had a family, they were going to starve to death because he flushed their money away on scratches and booze. CB then has the audacity to tell me that by not buying him scratcher tickets, I was depriving him of a way to make money for his family, and that the beer was for medicinal purposes, and that depriving CB of that, I was also preventing him from achieving his right to the pursuit of happiness. At this point, I just started to point at him and laugh. This just made CB madder. I tell him that if his family was really starving, to give me their address, and I would personally deliver food to them. I told him I'd buy $80 worth of food for them, but I would not give him 1 nickel. He then started yelling and shouting at me once more. I was starting to feel both angry and uncomfortable. Thankfully at that point, a police car pulled up. My friend inside the store had decided to call the cops while he watched this whole scene unfold, and the guy was arrested for being drunk and disorderly. As the cops pull him in the back of the car, I told him that if he wanted to give me his family's address, I would go and take care of them while he's in prison. This made him madder than before. Oddly enough, I did see CB once more after this encounter, about 5 months later, and it was back to school night, and my new students were coming to the classroom to meet me for the first time. And wouldn't you know, there was CB with his wife and son. I, being a professional, greeted them warmly. It obviously took him a minute to recognize me, but once he did, the look on his face was priceless. He had the deer in the headlights look. He must have told his wife later that I was the one from the convenience store because she came over and apologized to me for what happened with her husband. She promised me that I would never hear from or be bothered by him again, and asked me not to hold it against the kid. I assured her that I don't hold kids responsible for the actions of their parents, and he would be treated like all the other kids. I never saw CB at any school events after that day. It's funny how you can be the exact same person, but depending on the context you're in, will change how people perceive you. For the choosing beggar at first at the grocery store, it was just, oh, here's some sucker I can try and give me some money. But as soon as he realizes, oh, this is the person who's going to be teaching my child this year, he's not so confident anymore, is he? So, my husband has friends 1 and 2. 1 is married to my friend and 2 is married to Jay. Now, I understand trying to enter into a set dynamic and insert yourself into a clique as the new kid is hard. I worked very hard to be as welcoming as possible, but something about Jay rubbed us wrong. Was it the fact that she was not working or going to school and had demanded, to buy her a car, find a bigger house for them to live in, pay for fertility treatments, and pay for a wedding, all in the first 6 months of them dating? Yes, but also she wore a white dress to both my wedding, rude, and tries to sell us it works all the freaking time. But the piece de resistance was this interaction. Keep in mind this is the first time Jay has called me outside of asking if I want to join her downline.
Hey, y'all have a guest room, right?
Well, it's more like a big closet for my cosplay stuff that also has a pull-out couch in it. Why?
Husband and I come to Tennessee for 2 weeks on vacation and to go to my family reunion, but there aren't any hotels in our budget, so I figured we could stay with y'all.
Oh, well, unfortunately I'm going to have to say no. Like I said, it's more a closet than anything. But also, since the social distance order is still in place, I can't condone a large group of people getting together like that. I'm sorry, but maybe it's best you stay in South Carolina.
No, it's fine. No one in my family has the virus. Also, you can just move your costumes to your own room, right? You'll have to buy a real bed though, since we are trying for a baby, winky face. Or you can take the guest room and Em and I will stay in y'all's.
No? Even if no one has obvious symptoms, they may still be carrying the virus. My sister is pregnant and my mother has an autoimmune disorder, and I'm not taking any risks of this getting to them. 2, my cosplay stuff is in the room because it's the only storage place we have. I'm not shoving it into my bedroom where it won't fit. 3, we can't afford a new bed or there would be one in the guest room. And 4, you are not doing that in my bed, ever.
Well, I see how it is. You know, I told husband you were a selfish two-faced bee, but he swore your husband wouldn't be with someone like that. Obviously, they're both wrong. I'm going to tell husband about this, and when he tells your husband, you'll be in for a rude awakening. I hope he takes you to hand and shows you what a bee you've been, and teaches you how to act properly.
I know that was a mix of accents. Let's look past that. Me, who has been taken to hand by 2 partners and is still dealing with PTSD from it, which she knows. Did you really just freaking imply you hope my husband does that to me because I won't let you stay at our house and puts us and our family at potential risk?
I'm just saying a real lady wouldn't act so stuck up, and that someone needs to teach you a lesson.
Holy frick, what is this, 1820? You're psychotic. I'm going to tell him all of this so that when your husband calls to be, he'll have the full freaking story, you crazy butt. I'm gonna block you now. Kindly get lost forever.
I knew you were a heartless C. You never do anything for anyone. You couldn't even support my business venture and probably laughed with my friend when I had to stop selling my products because of people like you telling everyone my products are toxic. Screw you.
So that's my tale of woe, or bafflement at least. My husband had to hold me down because I was shaking so bad from the anger, but it's been like a week and honestly, I'm just amazed. This bee, really. On the bright side, friend and I did laugh about her failed MLM. Hey, calling an MLM a failed business venture is redundant.
It's basically the same thing.
She says it like it was something she was proud of. I worked really hard at this. It's like, yeah, trying to scam all your friends and family out of their money. Well done. Never thought I'd be lucky enough to encounter a choosing beggar of my own. Well, I say my own, but this is between my mum and a friend of hers. Or is she more of an r/entitled people person? I guess she's a bit of both, but more on the beggar side. Heck, she wants so many things for free. This isn't a long story, since it just happened, and I don't know every single detail, but it gets the idea around. For context, we've recently gotten a DSTV PVR contract. For those in the Americas, it's basically a satellite TV service. PVR allows you to pause, rewind, and record stuff on TV. It also gives you access to box office, which is kinda like Netflix, but you have to pay per series or movies you watch. We've only had this for a few months. Before that, we had a regular DSTV plan, where none of the nice options above are available, just plain satellite TV channels. Anyway, with this contract you can add up to 5 devices to use this service. Decoders for TV, tablets, smartphones, etc. We have 2 decoders registered, and my mum is planning on getting a tablet so she can watch TV in her room, leaving 2 slots available. Now, when you want to add a service to the slot, it will send you a verification phone to the account holder's registered number to type into the new device. This is important for later. Enter her friend. We'll call her A. A is terrible with money. To quickly sell her house, she sold it for a ridiculously low price. As far as I know, she sold it for about 660,000 Rand, which is about, according to Google, 35,000 USD, for a house, and burned through that money. She keeps buying and selling cars and has to constantly pawn off electronics just to afford food. Apparently, she also pawned off her DSTV decoder. Not just that, but they have about 5 pets. So don't ask me how they can afford appropriate food for all those poor animals. So here is my mum, watching TV, minding her own business, and texting A on WhatsApp when out of the blue, A asked her if she could have a slot on our DSTV plan. Now, my mum is a sweet, caring, and understanding person, and is always willing to help someone if they need it. I'm sure that she would have let A have a slot if she offered to pay for it, but no, she wanted it for free.
But it won't cost you anything,
she said, even though my mum said no.
In times like these, you should be willing to help out a friend. I let my roommate's parents have a device slot when they visited, after all, so why can't you?
Because you're not family, my mum would reply.
But we're friends!
This went on for a few hours, completely unbeknownst to me. See, I never liked A. I know she's been through a lot of stuff, but the fact that she constantly manipulates and harasses my mum is unforgivable. Anyway, my mum thinks the conversation is over when a few hours later, she suddenly gets an SMS, text message, asking for a verification code. Then the WhatsApp text from A.
What's the verification code?
So apparently, my mum agreed to give her ID number to A long time ago, at A's request, so she could be included in A's will. And the DST program uses your ID number as an account number to prevent multiple account fraud. This she-dog actually went ahead and, without my mum's consent, tried to add her device to our program. My mum, she was ticked. At first she waited a while, then gave A fake verification code. But when it didn't work, A tried again, and kept, and still is, harassing her over and over for a slot, saying things like,
"But it's free for you," and "How could you do this to a friend?"
I'm just floored that a person that used to be a policewoman, yes, I'm not kidding, she used to work with the law, can stoop to this low a level. It came to a point where my mum came to me to vent about the situation, and I ended up telling her that if A keeps harassing her about this, she needs to report her to the police for harassment. I mean, isn't it also against the law for someone to use your ID for a service without your consent too? Everybody loves free stuff. We all want to get something for nothing, but the Karen takes it that next level where she expects it of people, even risking her friendships to try and get something for free. Now, that's just sad, because friendships aren't free. They take a lot of hard work. Something that the Karen choosing beggar will never understand. Submit your story to be read on the channel at voiceyherestories@gmail.com and join our Voicey veteran community at r/VoiceyHere. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. Alright Voicey veterans, I'll see you in the next one.